the foot underneath. Just start off with just that kick and right hand. Hey drummers, we are back for another fun free drumming idea. This time it's going to be another tom groove, but this one is for more beginner level drummers, all right? So I can teach you this hand pattern. Anyone can do this. We can then make it a little bit more difficult by sort of like giving it a fall to the floor underneath, and then if you want to take it a step further, you can start stepping your feet so you get this. It's a really simple hand pattern. It sounds great. It's definitely something you want to add to your repertoire, or it might be something you've just not even sort of thought about trying as a beginner drummer. But if you like what you saw in the intro and you want to give it a crack, stick around and I'll break it down. Here we go. Okay, so to dive in, the first thing we're going to nail is the sticking pattern. All right, and it's relatively simple. All we're going to be doing is playing our hands together, and we're going to separate them. We're going to put our left hand up on the high tom, right hand down the floor tom. But if you've got a bigger kit set up than this, feel free to use whatever drums you like. But this is where it sounds good on this kit. So what we've got, both hands at the same time, together. If you want, slightly open those notes, you get a nice flam. Just makes the note sound a bit bigger and a bit more powerful, I think. And it's a little bit spice as well, because you hear the little separation between the high tom tone and then the floor tom. Yeah. Now once you've done that, we're going to play right, left, right. We're not going to play it with as much intensity as we did with that flam. So we're going to get this flam, right, left, right. And then we're going to do the same again. Flam, right, left, right. Now if we're counting this, we've got 1 and a 2 and 3 and. That was correct. 1 and a 2 and 3 and. And then what we're going to do for beat 4 is we're going to play both our hands together, 4, and then we're going to do a cheeky right hand at the end. Because what you find when you start looping this round, your right hand is actually going to be going 1 all the way through. So it's playing 8th notes. Watch that right hand. Now, if we play around with the dynamics, which I wasn't then, we can then start making this sound quite nice just by adding a little bit of like oomph to those notes where we're sort of like playing our hands together or flamming. Okay, so that's going to be the first note, flam, right, left, right. Another one, flam, right, left, right. And then when we play the snare drum and the floor tom together, and then we just drop in a nice little right hand at the end. If we're counting, we've got 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and. If we start speeding this up, it starts sounding like something. You can hear the slight separation where I'm just playing that left hand ever so slightly before my right. That's a flam, and it's kind of an open flam. So we got. When I get to the snare drum, I'm actually going to aim to try and play those as close together as possible to give us a nice solid backbeat. All right, so I want like the nice open sound for the toms when I'm hitting that snare. I want a nice solid slap on the snare and match it with the floor tom at the same time. Now, variety is the spice of life, so what we're going to do at the end of this, like every other round, instead of playing together right, we're going to play right, left, right. Okay, this is going to be 4E and. Now, once you've played these 3 notes, you'll notice I'm back in the same position to start the whole thing again. So if we were to just loop round what we're going to call round B, we'd get flam, right, left, right, flam, right, left, right, and then right, left, right. So snare, high, floor, right, left, right. You don't want to slow down for this, you want to keep the momentum going, so you get. If we now play pattern A and pattern B back to back, pretty much exactly the same apart from the last few notes. A. Speed this up and then pay more attention to the dynamics, basically bringing down any note that isn't going to be our big flams or the notes we play together. So that should sound like this. Then it starts to sound like something. Now, once you've got that down, that's sort of like the halfway point. It should be fairly easy to get that pattern down. You'll be surprised how quickly you get that, even if you've never played drums before. This might be the first thing you sit down and try and learn as a drummer. Most likely it's going to be something like that. But if you find yourself looking at this video for the first time, just got to remember that together, right, left, right, together, right, left, right, together, right. Obviously, if you are left-handed, it'd be together, left, right, left, together, left, right, left, together, left. Same sort of thing, and then your left, right, left would be that little B pattern at the end. So it's exactly the same. The next thing we're going to try and do is we're going to sort of underpin it with like a nice little 4/4 pulse, so, or 4 to the floor pulse. So our foot is now going to be going. Now, we know that our right hand is just doing this all the way through. So if you can link these two together, okay, so you're going together, right, together, right, together, right, together, right. Now while that's happening, think bum, 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 ba, bum, and then give yourself a break. Alright, guarantee when you first sit down and try and play this, unless you've done stuff like this before, as you play it, your right foot, as soon as you start bringing in those hands, your right foot is going to be desperate to try and match and copy what your hands are doing. So when your hands play together, that it's going to want to try. Okay, but the point of this is to try and have like a counter rhythm. So underneath we're playing is 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, over top we've got 1, 2, 3, bum, da, da, da. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Whereas our foot is playing 1, 2, 3, 4. One of the key mistakes people will make when playing this is their foot will be really quiet. Their hands will be really loud. So try and make it so your foot really stands out. So you can hear it cut through. Because then you'll start feeling that pulse underneath. Because your hands, like if we go through it really slowly, I mean, actually, I'd say the best thing to do is almost just sort of throw caution to the wind. Keep your foot just pumping, like bum, bum, bum. There are going to be mistakes as you play it, no doubt. But then just chuck on the hand pattern and then just hope for the best. Sometimes it comes out, but once you catch it that one time, you hear that bum, 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 ba, bum. Like a little light will shine in your brain. You're like, oh. And then suddenly you can start doing it. It's weird. Whereas if I was to sort of like break it down and say, now your kick's going to land like together, right, left, right on that right there, together, right, left, right on that one there, then together, right, then it gets a little bit convoluted. If you can just sort of almost separate the two patterns, so really get the muscle memory down for those hands, and then just separate that kick, and almost just ignore what your hands are doing. They're going to play it, but play soft, okay? Loud foot. Put a little gap in between so you can feel that foot staying there. And then it starts to sound like something. You can feel that pulse underneath. Now, if you get that really quick, the next thing to try, it's the same thing, but we're going to play the hi-hats on the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Let's go. Bit of lag on this hi-hat. And then you get this lovely little bit of four-way coordination. Think of this as sort of like your end game for now. Like if you are sort of fairly new to drums, you're only playing like 6 months or maybe a year or something like that. Treat this as maybe the first time or first exercise where you start getting both your feet playing something and your hands playing something a little bit different. And then when it comes together, and it will, start with your foot first, just your right foot or your lead foot, whichever's on the bass drum. Get that nice and solid. You want to have that as like your foundation. Then you start sprinkling in all the other little bits like this left foot going. But start with this as your foundation, and then get your right foot in there, your right hand there. And now you've got right, 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 right. So you've got a bass drum landing with the first one, hi-hat landing with the second one. And then just go for it. And then you can start playing around. You can just sort of like, whether you're in, like it's just like a solo part in a song, or you're just doing that bit where you've got the band's keeping the audience entertained, or you've got that 4/4 going down here. You can sort of tease little parts. Have some fun with it. Bring that left foot in. can do, instead of hitting the floor tom, when you hit that snare, pop, you can hit a crash with it or something like that, and that just spice it up a tiny bit more. You only need like a little tiny change for it to have a big impact on like a nice sort of like steady groove like this. All right, so that's the pattern. Don't forget, just remember, your hands are going together, right, left, right, together, right, left, right, together, right, and then together, right, left, right, together, right, left, right, right, left, right. We'll swap that around if you're left-handed. And then after that, then start thinking about putting those feet. Just your right foot, okay, remember, with your right hand. And then when you start bringing that left foot, again, it just lands with that other right hand. I'm playing feet up, I'm just sort of walking. I'm kind of exaggerating it now. All right, and you can start having some fun with that. So that's pretty much all the explaining done. I'll pop up there, demonstrate it, and then come and say goodbye. Here we go. So nice and slow, just the hand pan. Together, right, left, right, together, right, left, right, together, right, into together, right, left, right, together, right, left, right, right, left, right. I'll loop it. Get the foot underneath, just start off with just that kick and right hand. Let's just chuck everything in there, we'll play a bit faster, and then I'll come and say goodbye. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright drummers, so there it is. I hope you enjoyed that lesson. Thank you very much for watching. It's a great little exercise or like little pattern to start playing as a beginner. It's really simple with the hands. Obviously it's quite challenging when you get that foot underneath. But it's really good for your sort of like early coordination of sort of like taking two patterns and sitting them on top of each other and learning the wonders of the drum kit and how much fun you can have. If you did like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, then hit that little bell if you want to get notified every time a new lesson comes out. There'll be sheet music for this lesson. If you click on the link below, that'll take you to my website, alexribchesterdrums.com, and if you're interested, you can sign up there and get some additional lessons that you will not find here on YouTube. All right, we've got more lessons to film, so I think we're going to do a drum fill next. Yeah, so take care, keep drumming, and I'll see you very soon in the next video, which will be very soon. All right, see you later, bye.